Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot. In today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a really unique gourmand perfume. This is one that I've actually featured on my channel before in my top 10 fragrances you should sample when you visit Perfumology in Philadelphia, PA. And this one by Ikiryo is called Chocognac. So it's basically chocolate and cognac. I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Chocognac by Ikiryo, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this, but also giveaways, unboxing, special guests, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And of course, if you can give this video a thumbs up, it would really, really mean a lot to me. And so I had done a video a few months back, actually right around Mother's Day. I visited Perfumology, which is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, if you want to purchase or sample this fragrance, you may do so either on Perfumology's official website, or I'm sure you can give them a call as well. I'm going to leave their information down below. And this one is called Chocognac. So the brand is called Ikiryo, and the perfumer is Vincent of Dream House. I've actually had the opportunity of meeting him in person when he did visit the New Jersey, New York area. We hung out together. I interviewed him for my channel, and we recorded a bunch of content. I'm going to link some of those videos down below if you are interested. But here we have a fragrance that contains ylang-ylang, chocolate, white chocolate, cognac. It's rich, it's spicy, it's sweet, it's gourmand, it's really, really flavorful. And of course, chocolate is an amazing ingredient, no matter how you slice it, no pun intended. And I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance and why I personally think it's one of the fragrances that you should sample when visiting Perfumology. But let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. In the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get a ton of chocolate. I know so often in the community we talk about Chocolate Greedy by Montal, and we say that that's like a best-in-class chocolate fragrance. And of course, there are a lot of other fragrances. I know Profumum Roma has Chorizo, which is like Cocoa Pebbles almost. It has a very gourmand, decadent chocolate vibe. But here is another benchmark chocolate scent to add to that list. If you are a fan of long-lasting, complex, and boozy chocolate fragrances, you're gonna love this one. It actually reminds me of those little dark chocolates where you bite into it and there's like that boozy liqueur kind of spilling out from it. It kind of brings me back to like years ago when I used to enjoy those chocolates, and it kind of creates that vibe of, you know, you're sitting in an armchair and you're holding a glass of cognac and you can pick up on all of the spices that were used in the fermentation of that spirit. But then you also have this decadent dark and white chocolate that is drizzled on top of, you know, some spices and other gourmand ingredients. Perhaps I'm picking up on a little bit of vanilla in here as well. And it's really interesting to add ylang-ylang to this composition because ylang-ylang is one of those floral ingredients that to me have always smelled tropical. And so when you pair it with like coconut or driftwood or ambergris, and I believe there's a little ambergris in this as well, it always kind of gives the fragrance a little bit of a tropical vibe. You don't have any of that happening in here. This is a very rich, dense, thick, gourmand fragrance. If you're looking for something for the autumn or the winter time, this is really, really sweet, but it has enough of that cognac accord. I'm not sure what kind of spices Vincent used in this. If he used any spices at all, I actually do pick up on a little bit of something sweet and spicy, maybe a hint of cinnamon as well, but really that chocolate is in the spotlight and I'm really enjoying it. Now, one of the reasons why I said, and the main reason why I said this is a fragrance that you ought to sample when visiting Perfumology in Philadelphia is because you're not going to have a really easy time finding this brand. There's only a couple of stores, if I'm not mistaken, that are currently carrying this brand. Perfumology might actually be the only one, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, unless you're willing to purchase samples online, if you are within driving distance or traveling distance to Perfumology, I would definitely recommend that you try everything else that this brand has to offer. You know, there's a lot of really good orange-based fragrances, and I have some of the older creations of his that, you know, he shared with me. One of them being Lucidite, which I've actually reviewed on my channel. I think that's a really, really nice fragrance. But in terms of gourmand fragrances, add this one to the list. Boozy, Cognac, chocolate, spice, woods, ylang ylang, little incensey as well. Very complex gourmand, and one that I look forward to wearing in the autumn. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I tried comparing it to some other chocolate-based fragrances, whether we're talking about Black Phantom by Kilian Paris, Chocolate Greedy by Montal, Sorriso by Profumum Roma, and of course there are many other chocolate-based fragrances, but this is really in a category of its own. I really love the gourmand nuances about it. It's very flavorful, it's spicy, it's boozy, it's dark, it's rich, also a little mysterious at the same time. And of course, if you take a look at a lot of the graphics associated with Ikiryo fragrances, they definitely evoke this sort of brooding gothic element of mystery about it, and I really enjoy that. It really adds very nicely and organically to the aesthetic of the brand. In terms of the longevity, 10 plus hours, you can tell this stuff is very strongly concentrated, and it's also composed primarily of base notes, and so this is something that's really going to linger on your skin. The projection was very nice and even and continuous. I don't think it ever radiated beyond an arm's length, but it will radiate within an arm's length for like 4, 5, 6 hours. You will get noticed when you spray this one on, and the same thing can be said about other fragrances from Ikiryo. There are some other indie and niche brands that are very light, thinking of fragrances like Jo Malone and Atelier Cologne, and there are a lot of brands that are really quiet, really light. That's not the case with Ikiryo. These are really going to jump up off your skin. They're going to boom loudly and proudly. In terms of the versatility, I think it's perfectly unisex. I think anybody of any age can enjoy this one. I think somebody who's a little bit younger might actually enjoy the sweetness of this one. I think somebody who's a little bit older will enjoy some of those spicy and floral accents, as well as excuse me, the woods and the resins that are used in here. And I do think that this one is more suited towards the colder weather, so I probably wouldn't wear this one in the dead of summer, unless of course you do just a couple of sprays and you're wearing it in a climate controlled environment. In that case, you can really pull this off whenever you want. And I do actually find this to be a little bit more formal, and I find it to be a really nice romantic evening kind of a fragrance on account of that chocolatey sweetness. In terms of the presentation, Vincent of Dreamhouse does all of the graphics. He does the wax that is poured on top of the bottle. He is in charge of pretty much everything when it comes to the brand, in addition to being the perfumer, the CEO, the creative director, the owner of the company, everything. So I really admire him and how hard he works to really, you know, produce the best scents that he could possibly produce. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of boozy chocolate fragrances, I'm going to keep it simple. You got to try this one. Chocognac by Ikiryo is an awesome fragrance. Vincent, congratulations, a job very well done on this one. And the next time I go to Perfumology, I hope to be able to pick up another fragrance from the line so that I can keep adding them to my collection. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate your viewership. I hope you took something of value from this video. That was my review of Chocognac by Ikiryo. If you did take something of value from this video and you're not subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And once again, if you can give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, it would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. Love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.